Beverly Young Nelson confirmed she added notes to an inscription she said Roy Moore wrote in her yearbook decades ago. Nelson has accused Moore, a Republican Senate candidate in Alabama, of ually assaulting her in his car in the late 1970s when she was 16. Moore and his attorneys have previously suggested the yearbook inscription was a forgery. Beverly Young Nelson, who has accused the Alabama Republican Roy Moore of ually assaulting her when she was a teenager, confirmed to ABC News that she wrote notes underneath an inscription she said Moore signed in her yearbook decades ago. In an interview with ABC News' Tom Lamas that aired Friday, Nelson replied, "Yes," when Lamas asked her to confirm that she had made some notes underneath the signature. She also confirmed at Lamas' request that Moore did sign it. Lamas did not further question Nelson on the inscription in the footage of the interview that ABC News aired. Nelson detailed allegations against Moore, who's running for a U.S. Senate seat in Alabama's special election on Tuesday, in a November press conference with the high-profile attorney Gloria Allred. Nelson is one of several women who have accused Moore of varying degrees of ually misconduct. Nelson said she knew Moore when she was a 16-year-old waitress at an Alabama restaurant in the late 1970s and accused him of groping her in his car after offering her a ride home. To back up her assertion that Moore knew her, Nelson presented a message in her yearbook that she said Moore wrote. The message said, "To a sweeter, more beautiful girl I could not say, Merry Christmas, love, Roy Moore DA, 122,277, Old Hickory House." Moore and his attorneys quickly sought to cast doubt on the legitimacy of the inscription, demanding that an expert in handwriting analysis examine it. At a press conference days after Nelson's, Moore's attorneys said the date and restaurant name underneath Moore's signature appeared not to match other samples of Moore's handwriting. They also seized on the DA abbreviation, implying that Nelson had lifted the letters from a court filings stamp belonging to a person with those initials. Allred initially declined to answer reporters' questions about whether Nelson's yearbook message was a forgery. After the Moore campaign's press conference, she told CNN's Wolf Blitzer she would welcome an expert analysis of the message so long as it took place in a Senate hearing. At another press conference Friday afternoon, Allred cited a Georgia-based handwriting expert, Arthur Anthony, who studied several samples of Moore's handwriting and said he believed the signature in Nelson's yearbook was Moore's. "We think it's important evidence that supports Beverly's statements that Roy Moore asked to sign her yearbook when she was just 16 years old," Allred said at the press conference, AL.com reported. "And it demonstrates that when Roy Moore stated, 'I do not know any of these women,' that statement does not appear to be true." Allred also said that as a result of coming forward with her allegations against Moore, Nelson now fears for her life. "Since I spoke about my experience with Roy Moore when I was only 16 years old, I have been the target of threats and lies," Nelson said at the press conference. "As a result, I have had to live behind triple-locked doors, tinted windows. I've even had to have security accompany me when I went to a doctor's appointment." Watch a clip of ABC's interview with Nelson. Site highlights each day to your inbox. Follow Business Insider Australia on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram.